That said, we're in open session. I see all of our members are here. So if we could stand and salute the flag, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And before we start our meeting, I just wanted to say there was, our community lost somebody over the past week that I'd just like to offer a moment of silence for. Miss Joan Maga. For those of you who may be familiar with Ms. Maga, she was a longtime resident and her family a longtime residents of Wilmington. And she was responsible for being one of the founders of what we have as our 4th of July committee for 43 years, I think, Patrick, if I'm not mistaken. So Ms. Maga leaves her husband Sheldon, and she leaves four children. Unfortunately, 2 have passed, but I'd like to offer a moment of silence in Ms. Maga's memory. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That said, there are no other. We don't have minutes. Warrants this week, right?
But we did have one before. So
okay, there are. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will take a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session. Is there a so moved?
So moved. Second.
Mr. De Palma, Mr. Gailwell, any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. And there's no minutes, so we have our first appointment. Thomas P. Miller, Esquire, McDermott, Quilty, and Miller, and Hanley LLP regarding public hearing on the application for a change of LLC managers, change or ownership, interest, and change of manager for record to the all alcohol package store license of Eastgate's Will-NR LLC, DBA Eastgate Liquors property located at 211 Lowell Street. First, because this is a public hearing, could I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Mr. De Palma, is there?
Second.
Mr. Kyra, is there any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Sir, could you tell us your name and address for the record and why you're here?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Tom Miller from McDermott, Quilty, Miller and Hanley, 28 State Street in Boston, here on behalf of the licensee and applicant, Eastgate Liquors. I'm joined today by Mr. Bajal Patel, the proposed new owner, as well as Mr. Paul Robinson, the proposed manager of record. They're behind me if the board has questions as we move through the presentation. So.
Okay, does any of the board have a question? Okay. Because it's a public hearing, is there any member of the public that would like to speak in this issue? Okay, I see none. So I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Mr. De Palma, Ms. Maselli, all in favor of closing the public hearing? Okay, we have recommendations for this by, I think, several members, Mr. Chair, Mr. Manager.
We do. Let's see.
Ryan Cooper was one.
Yeah, so Chief Pupa, upon review, the Wilmington Police Department recommends approval for a change of manager, change of officers, directors, LLC managers, and change of ownership interest of all alcohol license of Eastgate Will-NR LLC, DBA Eastgate Liquors property located at 211 Lowell Street. We also have from Al Spalding, Inspector Buildings, I recommend the approval of the change of manager, change of officers, directors, LLC managers, and change of ownership interest. The all alcohol license of Eastgate Will-NR LLC, DBA Eastgate Liquors, 211 Lowell Street, Wilmington. And finally, we have from Shelley Newhouse, Director of Public Health, I recommend approval of the change of manager, change of officers, directors, LLC managers, and change of ownership interest in Eastgate Liquors.
So it sounds like there'll be no changes to your business, just changes of the manager and owner.
No, yes and no. There will be no changes to the day-to-day operation. This will continue to be the amenity the town has known. Mr. Robinson has been with the licensee for more than 35 years. Or almost 35 years, I apologize. Math, I went to law school, so I didn't have to do math. So the town's going to see no changes. This is purely, essentially back-end operational changes, and we'll go from there.
Okay, would anybody like to entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Selly? Oh, second, Mr. De Palma. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Good luck. Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have our 7:10 appointment, and it is 7:10. This is great. Adam Drury, Chief Operations Officer, BHG Tavern in the Square, request to obtain a one-day alcohol license to sell beer and wine at the Fun on the 4th for 4 days, and at Fall Fest for property located at 142 Middlesex Ave. I see Mr. Giroux would like to introduce, say your name and address for the record and introduce this gentleman.
Sure, thank you very much for having us. Good evening, everybody. Patrick Giroux, resident of Wilmington, 19 Brattle Street. I am the chairman of the Wilmington 4th of July Committee, and I am joined by Adam Dory, who is the Chief Operating Officer for Broadway Hospitality Group, which proudly owns Tavern in the Square as one of their many restaurants in the portfolio. By way of quick introduction, and then I'm going to pass it off to Adam, the reason we are here tonight is to seek a one-day alcohol license for 4 days total for the Fun on the 4th 2026. This is a new feature for Fun on the 4th based on a lot of feedback we have received over the years from both event attendees, community members, etc., as a way to add another feature for Fun on the 4th. So we are envisioning a beer garden at Fun on the 4th, a very contained beer garden. I will get into Fall Fest in a moment, but for Fun on the 4th, it will be a open-air tented beer garden, fenced off. The beer garden will be available to anybody that would like to come into the area. We're trying to make this a community-centered feature. It is not meant to be a bar. It is not meant to be a area for people to come in, consume, and leave. It is meant to be a way to add to the event. We'll have some music inside the beer garden, some activities, some food from Adam's culinary team. And the proposed location for the beer garden is the Swain Green. Of course, there is a lot of unknowns with the Swain Green given the weather right now. It's currently a mud pit. I know there's some closeout matters with construction to put the grass down, so we'll make that determination in June, but we do have a plan B for the beer garden, which is going to be a fenced-off area in the municipal parking lot as well off of Middlesex Ave. So that's the location. The committee does have a legacy relationship with Tavern in the Square. As this group recalls, we introduced Tavern in the Square to you all last year when we brought them in as our exclusive alcohol vendor for Fall Fest. They are a very well-versed team. They do a lot of these type community events. Adam will talk about that in a moment, but the committee is very impressed. The Wilmington Police Department has offered extreme words of gratitude for Tavern's operation, just given, community events can have a lot of various things that could go on with them, but Tavern knows how to manage every angle of the event, so we're very impressed with that. Like I mentioned, the beer garden will be fenced off, so you cannot roam the carnival, you cannot roam the town common or other areas of Fun on the 4th with a beverage. It'll be in the contained area. I did sit down with the Wilmington Police Department about a month ago with the command staff there to talk about this plan, this new feature for Fun on the 4th, and I did receive unanimous support from that team to add this attraction to the event. We understand that the alcohol may also add some added trash and things like that. The committee at its expense will work with various public works and various matters in town to make sure that trash is mitigated appropriately. And I think that's it for the Fun on the 4th beer garden. I think the only notable thing to mention about the Fall Fest beer garden, since that's the last one-day alcohol license we're looking for, it'll be a copy-paste from last year in terms of hours, in terms of layout. I will say the Fun on the 4th beer garden will probably be a little bit, that one's fenced off. It's in a specific area versus the Fall Fest beer garden where you can roam the parking lot with it. Of course, it's a fenced-off parking lot, but the area is much larger in terms of the consumption area. So we're going to try and I make sure this Fun on the Fourth one, knowing that the audience can be could be larger. We're going to try and make sure it's contained and it's well managed and staffed appropriately. I'll pass it off to Adam to kind of talk about his operation.
Sure. Thank you again for having us back, obviously from the board. I think, provided the success of the Fall Fest, I think we'll look to replicate all aspects of this. We found it to be very advantageous. It was very clean. To be honest, I think we both walked away and to not really make any modifications or improvements, from this past year. This goes, I think, from an alcohol consumption standpoint, from a limiting to that, to the security, to the wristband checks, to the IDs, to the security we plan to have to be present, obviously just on a much larger scale. We plan to utilize, our trained staff, which come from Tavern Square, Burlington, and Woburn from local restaurants as well to help us support us here. They all go through extensive TIPS training and TIPS certifications, responsible service of alcohol. We also plan to utilize our security team, which leads the Broadway in South Boston and Playwright in South Boston, which, they're kind of used to these larger crowds, navigating St. Patty's Day recently in the parade, which we were able to do very successfully. So it's, I think, just our general exposure to all aspects of this operation is very familiar to us. This is, I think, dating back to, as I spoke upon last year, kind of it was my part-time job, maybe a little bit on top of my full-time job, and kind of exploring this community-based piece, I guess, to our operation and involvement or the company, which we've been very successful at, I think, overall, not only being from a safety aspect too, but I think blending ourselves more so with the community, not just in a restaurant entity basis. So, I think we're just simply looking to replicate what we did at Fall Fest, just on a larger scale. And to, I think provide a safe environment, most importantly for everybody. It's not, we plan to keep all product in-house, on premise, locked up, safe at night. If we need to have security teams present overnight, we're more than happy to do so as well, and to bring in all trained staff. So it'll be beer and wine only. We plan to also, I think, utilize some local vendors too and breweries in order to kind of promote the locality of it and, bring that local piece to continue, I think, for the Fun on the Fourth event. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further comments, Patrick?
No, I think we welcome any feedback and comments from this board.
Any comments from the board? Ms. Maselli?
Thank you. How many bars do you expect to set up on Fun on the Fourth? Like how many?
Yeah, so for Fall Fest, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had, I think, 2 bars?
So there was one bar.
Oh,
We
was
actually
just one?
brought in a tap truck. So
Oh, that's
it's
right.
not,
Yeah.
So it's a self-contained unit. We would look to replicate that again.
Okay.
It's very clean. All the product is locked in there. It's refrigerated. We would probably look to bring in something along those lines or 2 of those and probably run 8 to 12 tap lines out of there.
Okay. And things, just to reiterate, but they'll go the same way where there'll be obviously limits because they're tips, they know.
Yep.
The tip
So,
service to shut people off when they need to be shut
absolutely.
off.
And something that we did at Fall Fest too is everybody had a wristband. So
Right.
once somebody was ID'd, they got a wristband. Once they come up and ordered one beverage, it was marked on their wristband. You can't really, there's no exchanging of them. There's no getting them off and passing them on to somebody
Yeah,
else, which
yeah.
we've probably seen
Yeah.
before. It was, very controlled. We had one individual simply marking the wristbands prior to the order taking, and therefore there was no confusion. As long as lines can get kind of lengthy and things can get, I don't want to say confusing, but I think it was very contained and very controlled.
Good.
Yeah, there is going to be a 3-drink max imposed
Okay.
per
That's the same thing
individual.
that we did.
Yeah,
in Fall,
okay,
yep.
right. You had that at Fall Fest as well, right?
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this is not
That's
meant
good.
to be, this is not an alcohol festival, this is
Right.
not a brewery festival,
Yep.
this is just another,
Option.
feature
Yeah.
at Fun on the Fourth. So,
Yeah.
the entire Fun on the Fourth is still being designed as is. I
Right.
presented in front of this board a few months ago with those plans. This is just another element of the
Right.
event.
I think
Like-
also too with concerns, it's not something that we train our staff, contained within the restaurants too, is
Right.
we're very aware that people may consume alcohol prior to arriving there, right? So it's not,
Right,
again, our
right.
staff is very well versed and trained in responsible
Yeah.
service of alcohol.
Yeah.
I think in identifying key factors or indicators and shutting off service even before we serve them.
That was one of the things I was
Yep,
going to bring
absolutely.
up because, and I know you've done these things before, but, it's Fun on the Fourth and people do have parties before
have
and
fun.
after. So, they may be having having, 3 drinks in the tent, but they may
Sure.
have consumed
Yeah.
more before or after, so.
And
but-
it's again,
Yeah.
we're just as much liable. Again,
Yeah.
it's not, we want to promote a safe environment. We want people to have fun, right?
Yeah,
But we want
yeah.
people to have clean fun as well.
Yeah,
Yep. Same
Okay.
thing, and the same thing we practice within all the restaurants.
of course.
Yep.
Any other comments from Mr. De Palma?
I don't know if I heard you or not. What are your plans on the Fun on the 4th for security?
So I think that we still need to determine that a little bit, but as far as quantity-wise, once we get a finalized layout too. I mean, we have, for example, we have, the Broadway, for example, we have 8 individual security, I think, deployed throughout the restaurant, outside, inside. We can have as many as is needed.
Thank you.
And a lot of that, we will be meeting with the police.
Yep.
We've had this
Yes.
initial
Yeah.
meeting already. The police will make that determination. And in terms of details that are needed for this, that will be an expense of this, of the committee that will be putting this together. So the public safety plan, as is all of Fun on the 4th, it's very robust, it's very detailed. We meet a lot. So, this will be an element of this year's security plan.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Mr.
Just a
Yeo?
quick one, I think your plan looks really good. Everything from containment to the hours you picked, to the drink limits and security, and I know Fall Fest went well. I was over there, I didn't have time because I had a commitment, but looked like it was fun over there. So hope it goes well, see how it goes.
Thank you. Appreciate the support.
Mr. Gyra?
Yeah, just to follow up on Mr. De Palma's question earlier, security, do you mean security overnight, since you're going to be storing alcohol on the town premises?
Yep.
So will you have someone there overnight?
Yes, so we do the units that we'll bring in, they are refrigerated, they'll be locked overnight. But we can and we will provide security in order to make sure that alcohol stays locked up on the premises.
Yeah, I'm a no, because I don't think you need to drink on public property to have fun, I don't think it's needed to have fun on the 4th or to have a family-friendly event on Fall Fest, so. I would like these two taken up separately.
Sure.
Rather than taken up as a package.
Yep, that's fine. A couple of quick comments is that I noticed that it seems like you're closing the beer garden, if you will, an hour or so before the Fall Fest closes and the Fun on the 4th closes each night, correct? Is it an hour or is it longer than an hour? between
So
close?
Thursday and Friday, so we'll start with Fun on the 4th. Thursday and Friday, the Fun on the 4th ends at 9 p.m. The beer garden closes at 9 p.m. as well. The expectation is once the lights go off, just as we operate the carnival, when the lights go off, folks need to exit. Saturday and Sunday, the beer garden will close at 9 p.m. The general event closes at 10:30 p.m. So the expectation as well is, 9 p.m. is when that part of the event will close. Fall Fest, the beer garden goes until that one goes until 4 p.m. and that is typically, I believe Fall Fest we close at 5 p.m. The general event. So 4 p.m. is when we stop serving.
Now, when you're saying close, like let's say somebody wants a beer at 9:55, excuse me, 8:55, and you close at 9, is it you going to serve that person?
Well,
or
we'll have
does
last
the bar
call.
close?
Yeah, I believe for Fall Fest, and we'll probably emulate a similar thing with Fun on the 4th, but we'll have a last call, built in. It's likely a half hour before closure or something. A lot of that we discussed with the police and public safety in terms of their overall safety plan when the event concludes. They want to make sure the event is dispersed in a safe manner. So we'll have those discussions with them.
Yeah, 'cause I'm just thinking that you should have some sort of a last call, like I said, a half hour, an hour beforehand, so that somebody's not saying, oh, it's 8:55, and,
Yep.
and then it's my third beer, and oh, by the way, I'm gonna start driving home.
Yeah.
So, if I may, that's something also too that we implicate, and obviously in the restaurants too, we provide a last call 30 minutes before we close. We give everybody a reminder 15 minutes before that, so that everyone's out at the indicated time.
Okay. And at the beer garden section, will there be food also, or is that strictly alcohol? And will there be non-alcoholic drinks, soda and things like that?
Sure, great question. There will be food provided by Adam's culinary team, Tavern in the Square. There'll be food in that beer garden that'll be served to anybody that wants to buy it. It's not just folks that are inside the beer garden. And there will be non-alcoholic beverages for those that don't wish to consume alcohol.
Okay. Any further
Mr. Chair,
questions? Yeah, sure.
just another question, really not related to the alcohol portion. Looking at the design here, and I don't know if you've had conversation with the town manager or not, but the town hall is still open on Thursday and Friday, and it doesn't look like there's much parking, especially with the fencing around there. Is that's just a diagram? We are gonna have parking for our residents.
Yeah,
down
we
in the
haven't
lower lot, right?
set down any final plans, but yeah, there would need to be parking for Thursday and Friday for town hall staff and residents to be able to access.
Eric and I did connect over the winter. We said we'll meet this spring. Once this building is functional, operational, we know what the needs are. The plan is not to close the entire parking lot. There'll be parking available for this building. This is just drawn to sketch to basically show the elements of the event. This is not an engineer drawing by any means.
And then one more question, Pat. In the diagram, the blue notes the booths and the vendors.
Yep,
I'm assuming that they're organizations.
Yep.
They're not businesses in the vendors.
correct. This is the exact map that was presented to this group a few months ago. The only addition we added was A and B for the beer garden, but
Right,
it
no,
is still the nonprofit area that'll be in the rear of the common, I think is what you're asking.
My question is, the blue down in the corner, is that going to be for vendors as well? Because it's,
I
or
think
is
you're
that a
looking
mistake?
at no, you're looking at the high school track. That is blue.
right. Well, I know the high school track's blue, but
Yep.
the blue notes that it's supposed to be for booths and vendors. You're not putting booths and vendors in this blue portion.
I did not change the color of the track, so that is an aerial screenshot. I just added the bar to the common where you'll see the booths.
Okay, any final comments? Okay, is there, we'll take them up separately. Is there a motion to grant the, the alcohol license to sell beer and wine at Fun on the 4th, which is for 4 days, for property located at 142 Middlesex Ave?
So moved.
Mr. Palmer, Mr. Gerwa, any discussion? All in favor? This is strictly for Fun on the 4th. All in favor? All opposed? 4 to 1. Okay, and then a second motion for the Fall Fest one-day alcohol license for property located at 142 Middlesex Ave.
So moved?
Mr.
Second.
Gerwa, Ms. Maselli.
Second.
One discussion point, is there a rain date for either of these?
Yes, it is printed on the applications on Sunday, June 28th for Fun on the 4th. If that's a rain out, as has been historically, if it's a rain out, then we have the event on Monday. So this year it'll be Monday, 6/29/26. So the beer garden will be operational during the same hours as it would have been on Sunday. If it's rained out Sunday, it is on Monday. On Fall Fest, if that event is rained out, Fall Fest is September 26th. The rain date exercise will be Saturday, October 3rd, 26. Same hours.
Okay, so let's take the vote on Fall Fest. All in favor of 4? All opposed? Okay, and I guess one question to the manager. Do we need to revisit the motion for the Fun on the 4th to include a rain date? Or is
It's
that-
in the application
in the
paper, so I
application.
think that's sufficient.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to seeing Fun on the 4th and Fall Fest.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay. 7:20 appointment, Karen Raskus, Principal Assessor, regarding presentation regarding property tax exemptions for seniors and veterans.
So as a preface to the board, I just wanted to, let folks know, so there's a packet that you have in front of you. Ideally, we're gonna be going, kind of white, blue, pink, yellow. So if you have them stacked in that order, it would be, and that's in the purple binder. So at the outset, I just wanted to thank Karen for all her work on this. This is a very dense and detailed subject, it's not always common sense. So, kind of please bear with Karen as she moves through this. It can be a little bit tricky.
Be a little overwhelming, yeah. There's a lot of options.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I do have something that's going to pop up on the screen. So we can start with, so I think that given the article that's at the town, on the town warrant, that it was a good opportunity to review exemptions that are available to seniors, to blind, to veterans that we currently offer. Everything's under Mass General Law. And to see what some local options are that we have granted in the past and some options that are available to us to consider for the future, so that we can kind of have benefit all. So the brochure that I have up on the screen, and this is the blue form that you have, I think that's helpful to refer back to as a guide. So it tells you what type of exemption we have across the top of the chart, and then all of them have qualifications. So I don't want to get into a lot of the details of the qualifications because there's residency requirements and disability requirements and owner-occupied, things like that. But the first one would be, so I've tried to highlight this chart of the pieces that are highlighted in yellow are things that could change. Let me just try to maximize this here. Maybe I can shrink this down a little. I just want to be able to see all of it at once. Okay, it's not ideal, but okay, so let me just start with this. So we have your blind exemptions, and that's a $500 exemption. There's nothing really has changed on that. You have your veterans exemptions, and that is, there are many things that we've covered on that. Let me skip that for a moment and go to, I'm going to follow with the white paper that you received in the packet, and this tells you what exemptions that we have granted and what exemptions that we could grant. So the first one for the seniors, back in fiscal year 2016, this is the one in the middle column there under the 41C. We reduced the, we did not reduce the age from 70 to 65, but we did increase the gross receipts or income and the assets by there was a legislation that allowed you to go up to $20,000 from 13 if you're single, and your income 30,000 from 15,000. Your assets went from 28 and 30,000 for single and married to 40 and 55,000. Under the next column over, under the clause 17D, that increased the asset limit to 50,000, and that's whether you're single or married. And then under the clause 41A at the end of the chart, that is someone who wants to do a tax deferral to defer their tax. The income limit used to be $20,000, so we raised that to $40,000.
If I could just break it, just for the folks at home, the importance of raising those limits means more people get captured under the umbrella of the exemption as you raise those limits. So rather than having the limits as they originally were, as you could only earn $13,000 if you were single, we raised it up to 20, so that captured more people that were more elderly folks who were able to get those exemptions. So it can be a little bit contrary to think, but as you move these numbers higher, you're getting more elderly folks underneath the bucket, and that more people become eligible for that exemption. I'm sorry, Karen.
No, very good point. And to that point, Social Security increases slightly every year, but our limit did not increase. So this kind of was an effort to try to keep up with that Social Security piece. And what exactly happened is the column that's 41C and 41D, they kind of flipped. So people that were prohibited from getting the $500 exemption, now that we raised the amount of the income and asset limits, they were able to get the 500, and the numbers really switched in from the 17D, which was just an asset test. So we haven't revisited anything further on that, but there has been multiple local options that have passed since fiscal year 16, but that's what we have done.
Karen, one quick
Yes,
question before we change it. So obviously the red is stuff we've adopted, and the black would be things we could still adopt on this seniors page?
Oh, let's see. Oh, so the red, yes, the red is what we have adopted. The black was what we did, what we could have
We
adopted.
still can, which
can,
is
yes.
probably, I'm jumping the gun a little bit.
And other options that have become available that might be more beneficial for the whole as opposed to just that clause.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. The next page for things that we have done for our veterans. And some of these are by statute, like it's a state law, so there's not a local option, and some of them are local options that we've adopted. So in fiscal year 12, for the clause 22E, which is 100% disabled veterans and their surviving spouses who in order to qualify for that exemption, you had to be 100% disabled rating by the VA and incapable of working. They took the incapable of working out of the equation, so you just needed the 100% disabled letter from the VA. And then in fiscal year 2018, as part of the Home Act, there was clause 22F, which was an exemption that applies to the 100% disability rating veterans that now had a service-connected blindness, so that they were going to get a full property tax exemption. We had the clause 22D under that same Home Act changed. The clause 22D is for the surviving spouse of a service member who was, his death was approximate cause of a service-connected injury or disease. It had to be in a combat zone, and they took the combat zone out of the equation on that, and that was changed from a $2,500 exemption to a full exemption. In fiscal year 2021, as part of the BRAVE Act, and I'm summarizing these, Home Act might have included many other things, but as it relates to property tax and to municipalities, only what I'm covering. The BRAVE Act in fiscal year 2021, we adopted clause 22H, which is for the Gold Star parents. It's a local option that for military personnel, including National Guard and active duty, who went missing in action and were presumed had passed, that their parents and would be able to get a full property tax exemption. We did adopt that. There is no state reimbursement for that. Any local options, and I don't want to keep repeating it, but all the local options, there's not really a state reimbursement for these. The clause 22G was also adopted at the fiscal year 21 at our June 2020 town meeting, and that has been very helpful to some because it was basically a property held in trust. In order to get an exemption, you had to be a trustee and have beneficial interest. This took away the need to be the trustee. You could have a conservator or someone else be the trustee and still qualify for the exemption. You still need to have beneficial interest. So we adopted that. And we have granted this in fiscal year 25, we granted 8 of those exemptions, and so that we abated $22,119. As part of the HEROES Act in 2024, one of the pieces of that was to, in the past, to get if you were 100% disabled veteran, you had to go before an advisory committee at the Registry of Motor Vehicles to get your motor vehicle excise abated. They made it anyone who receives the 100% disability through the VA would automatically get the motor vehicle excise abated on one vehicle. They have an annuity payment that increased from $2,000 to $2,500, and they came up with the local options, which is part of our article, which is clause I and J. So just to go over clause 22I a little bit, that is a COLA on the amount of the exemption. So if you look on the chart that we have, the second column, under assistance amount, it says $400 up to the entire amount. So the $400 is for any veteran that has a 10% related disability up to 99%. And a clause 22E is 100% disabled, and that's $1,000. So this COLA would increase the $400 and the $1,000, and there's other exemptions in there as well. They're like $1,200 and $1,500. Increase it by the cost of living adjustment annually. 22J would up to double the amount of that. So the 400 would go to 800, the 1,000 would go to 2,000. But if you adopt 22I, the 400, let's say it's increased by a COLA is $25, so it's $425. That goes to $850. And the same with the 1,000. If that COLA is applied to that, and let's say it's $50 COLA, so now it's $1,050. If you up to double that, now they get the $2,100 for that. And that applies to all the clause 22s. So there's like 22, this I didn't want to go in too much depth, but there's 22 A's through F's of exemptions. The two biggest ones that we deal with are the clause 22, which is the 10% to 99% disability and the 100% disability. The city or town can also adopt an amount up to the 100, and if you didn't vote the full 100, you can change that in subsequent years, and this is not covered under Massachusetts for reimbursement. Available options. So if 22I and 22J would apply a COLA and up to double the amount of the exemption, for the clause 17, this clause 17, which is the 17D column, the elderly and surviving spouse and minors, this would be a COLA applied to that, similar to the $400 exemption. The $500 exemption would have the COLA attached or added into the calculation. And the right below that on this is the 41D. Would help the seniors under clause 41C on the chart where it says elderly exemption, the one that says age 70, the one that has the income and asset requirement. That would be similar to the 22I, but it would increase the income and asset limits for the seniors. And this isn't a one-for-one about what the state would reimburse and what they don't reimburse on that. The way that the 17s and the 41Cs get reimbursed is whenever the last year was that the town had a clause 41, which was several years ago, whatever we were getting reimbursed at that time, it was frozen. For us, it was like $9,100. So we only submitted and had enough applicants for like $3,000 for reimbursement, but we get the $9,100. So I can't say like, what's it going to cost us, because it's up to that $9,100. If we go over that, then we're not going to receive payment past that. At this point, we're not near that amount. And then, so that would cover the 17E and the 41D, which would be similar to the 22I. Everybody gets the COLA. And now the clause of Chapter 59, 5C and a half, that benefits all classes. That benefits all the clause 22 veterans, 37 blind, the 17D elderly, and the 41C, the surviving spouse and the elderly. It would be, again, you can adopt an amount up to 100% of the amount that they currently get, and that's the part that's highlighted in yellow, the assistance amount. The 17Ds currently only receive $227 annually. That was $175, so the effect of the COLA that we adopted, it's gone from $175 to $227, and that'll be increased annually until town meeting would take another vote. Another program that we have that has not been looked at was the veterans residency requirement. The law used to be that they had a 5-year residency requirement. That was changed by Mass General Law to 2 years, but there is a local option to change that to 1 year. Then the last page is just the senior work-off, which is our second to last column up there. Or third rather. We have annually, the town did adopt section 559.5K, and we have a senior work-off program that gets revisited annually with how many hours and what the annual hour per rate would be for the seniors who are able to work for the town. That's this year's $2,000 based on $15 an hour, the minimum wage. We have not, to the best of my knowledge, adopted the Veterans Work Abatement through the BRAVE Act, which is Chapter 59, Section 5N. But the veterans also could earn up to $1,500. The previous limit was $1,000. And they can also do 125 hours of service. So that kind of tells a little bit about the exemptions that are offered and where we could make changes. But the question I'm sure comes up that I've been asked is, so what's the impact? So the pink paper that you have is, let me just put this up real quick. So the pink form is something that we have to submit to the Department of Revenue annually for reimbursement of these. That we have to submit annually. So you can see up top the 17Ds. I tried to write in there so you would understand what they were, but that's the senior surviving. It's for seniors and surviving spouses. We granted 15 of those, and that we abated $3,315. That's the one I was saying that the state reimbursement is the $9,100. Our veterans, that 10% to 99% disability, there's 128 of those. So we abated $51,200. The state reimbursed us $28,800. We had the next one down. This is another one of those clauses, the 22F, which is the paraplegic. And that's one, and the abatement was $8,031, and the state reimbursed us $78.56. The 22Ds, which is for the veteran surviving spouse, if there was a service-connected cause to the death, there's 18 of those. It's $143,496 that was abated. That full amount was reimbursed through the state. The Veterans Clause 22E is for the 100% disabled veterans. That was, we abated 51 of those for $51,000. We were reimbursed $42,075. And the Clause 41Cs, which is the seniors over 70, this one has an income and asset limit. We granted 12 of those for $6,000, and we were reimbursed by $6,024. Just noting here that the town also, the town also has two people that we have that were surviving spouses of police officers or firefighters killed in the line of duty that we do a full abatement on. That's not reimbursed, but we do that. In the Clause 41A up there that you see is someone that wants to defer their taxes for people over the age of 65, again, meeting the requirements on that blue brochure. There was two at the amount of $13,758. That's never reimbursed by the state because the town will recollect that at such time when there's no, the person chooses to pay to sell their home or stop going into the program. And then the 22G veterans, it's not on this form that goes to the state because they don't reimburse for it, but that's the one with the trust that we adopted. There were 8 exemptions, and it was $22,119. So the total that we abate, and this comes out of the overlay every year, is $322,601 last year. The state reimbursed us for $239,201 of that. So if you want to,
Can I just interject real
Yep.
quick? So as you can see from the potential proposals that are outlined in the exemption options, what is on the table for town meeting right now is, if you look at this pink sheet, it's the 10% to 99% disability and the 100% disability. The 22A and the 22E veterans, and it would do two things. The hierarchy would do two things. It would add a COLA to the amount, because those are the ones that are 400 and then 1,000. So add a COLA to that amount, and then 22J would then double. So if you're looking for the total impact of those, of the clauses that are currently on the warrant, it's held in those two lines. And it would basically double it, plus add a double COLA every year.
What does it do to state reimbursement? Anything?
No.
Right? We don't, the reimbursements would stay
Exactly
consistent with
the
what we
same.
have now.
Yeah. Just confirm.
The other possibilities are primarily on the elderly side, which, and there's options to do similar things for elderly folks, which would take those 17 Ds, which is the very top number, those 15 folks, and the senior income and asset limits, the 12 folks there.
And the 37, the blind, the 6 people there.
Yes, yes. And to add a COLA, it's possible for us to add a COLA to their amounts, to add a COLA to their income and asset restrictions, and to also, if we went through one of the clauses, to double theirs as well. The trick, and tell me if I'm right, is that we can't use the 22J to double the veterans and the 5C&1/2 to double everybody.
Right.
So we have,
You can't
there's a dichotomy there between what we're allowed to do.
So if you do the 5C&1/2, it benefits everyone. And if you do the 22J, it's just the other clauses, but you can't adopt the J and then do 5C&1/2 and double the 1,000 to 2,000, and then double the 2 to 4, is basically what it is, if you can't. Yeah.
You
So-
can't double and double.
Wait a minute. J is on this
J or
somewhere?
G?
Those are, I'm sorry, 22J is the clause that we're talking about adopting
okay.
as a part of the
Article.
HERO Act that's in the warrant. So that's the one that doubles all of the veterans' amounts.
I'm looking for the letter J. I
Yeah.
don't see it. I still go-
Yeah, no, that's the clause that allows you to double the 22Es and then the 22A through Fs.
Right, all of the 22s on that form, those would all double. And the 15 seniors under the 17D, the 6 under the blind, and the 12 under the 41C would not double.
And so I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on the yellow, but I think it's really helpful that Karen prepared it, because it shows if we had so we did adopt that COLA on the one number, the number that's the 227. The
17D, I can show you that.
yeah. So we adopted that number. That's the 17Ds. 6 years ago, we adopted a COLA on that. It started at $175. It's now $227 because of that COLA. What the yellow charts show is if at that same time we had adopted a COLA on these other amounts, what they would look like right now. So if you look at the one with the two, with these are the two veterans, it shows if you had added that COLA to the $400, that's for the 10 to 99% veterans, or if you added that COLA to the $1,000, what that would look like, and then what is non-reimbursed in those years as we do it, if you look at the far line.
And I just wanted to point out a mistake on my behalf on the first one, the clause 22, the one that's 129 granted, which is the 10% to 99% disability. Under the column that says state reimbursement, $400 each. That's actually the state reimbursement. I was thinking how much we granted for, but the state reimbursement is actually $225.
Okay,
So the numbers change a bit, that our non-reimbursable amount would be $601. And if you multiply that times 129 that currently receive it, it's $77,580 instead of the $55,000. And I can update that to get that to you.
So again, this is just to show if we had adopted 6 years ago, because we can't predict the COLAs for the next 6 years.
Yeah.
But if we had done it 6 years ago, this would have been the impact on all of the numbers that we've already discussed.
And on that second page of the yellow, where it talks about the senior COLAs, that, again, like the manager said, that will show you the impact of the $500 one. I don't have on there the amount that the state reimburses because it's a lump sum amount of the $6,024. So if you took the $1,033, that would be the increase times the 12 people that qualified. That was $12,396 minus the $6,000 that we would be getting back. The cost to us is $6,300 roughly. And the one below that, for the surviving spouses and the seniors under that clause 17D, since that's an annual 9,100 that's frozen at that amount, we would actually still be getting a credit back. Because if you took the $361.55 that they would be getting times the 15 people that receive it, that's $5,400, where we're getting $9,100 back. So that wouldn't cost us anything yet, unless there was more people that qualified or until we got into it further years. So by adopting 5C.5, it would benefit everybody, and it's still not costing us, it's not a one-for-one on the amount coming back from the state on that. And you can see the impact on the last one of the COLA on the income and the assets, how it would try to keep up with the cost of living to increase what their income could be and what their assets could be.
Karen, just to kind of say it a different way though,
Sure.
it looks like any of these to a certain extent, if our numbers of people involved don't change, the state reimbursement doesn't change if we adopt COLA, double it, or anything, right? Because the reimbursement is fixed either at a total amount or a per person rate, it looks like.
Only on the 17D, only on the seniors.
No, what I mean
17D
is like on the
senior.
veterans one, we're getting, if we have 100 people at $400, it's still that amount whether we decide to adopt the
Oh.
COLA or double the amount or whatever.
Right.
The state reimburses.
So they
those are
still
all
reimburse
fixed.
us the $225 per person.
Yeah.
Assuming the same people, none of that changes in any of these.
Correct. For our reimbursement. Our
Yeah,
costs
that's what
will-
I'm saying,
Our
like,
costs
to make
will
it
go up,
simple,
our reimbursements will stay.
nothing else
stay
changes.
flat, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But I think the hope is that by increasing everything, we'll hopefully get more people to be involved, be able to be qualified for these programs or some of these programs.
Right. The 17D, for the seniors, the 17D and the 41C, yes. For the veterans, that's all disability connected. The one thing that could help the veterans is if we did the residency requirement to only a year instead of 2 years. It used to be 5, state says 2, local option is 1 year.
And is this done to the select board, a town meeting, or what's the?
Town meeting.
We put it on the warrant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the purpose of having this was to provide the public and the board with what our options are. There's no expectation that the board take action today. I don't think that would be fair for anybody. But if the board would allow me, what I'd like to do is kind of put together potential warrant articles and show you what the impact of those would be if we did those for the seniors. Because if you look at the seniors' cost with respect to in the cherry sheet that we file, it's really minimal. I mean, we're even if we doubled the amount of seniors we have, right now we only pay out
Yeah.
$7,000 or $8,000.
Dollars, right.
So even if we double the amount of seniors and double the amount of money, it would be $24,000. It's certainly something that the overlay could handle, but I think it would go a long way towards kind of telling our seniors that we understand about the tax implications of that they're facing, and we have the option to kind of push forward this sort of local option. We won't get reimbursed for it, but I think there's.
How do we make sure that everybody is aware of this, seniors and veterans? Is that the tax bill or?
Yeah, so we work very closely with Terry's office, and when she does the income tax returns, that they offer that program through the senior center, we always say, please make sure that you, if you're looking at their income and asset levels, look at our brochure, and if you think they could qualify, send them to us. The Veterans Office does that on a regular basis.
Sure.
In the past, I have done presentations at the senior center, but I haven't for a while. We do have brochures that we put out, and as a courtesy, our office, anyone who has qualified the year before, we send the applications to them as a reminder.
Oh, nice.
Anybody throughout the year who's come in and asked about them, we said, let us put your name on the list, because the numbers change annually, so you might not qualify this year, but you might qualify next year. Cheryl Stemler in our office has befriended every senior and veteran in town and is wonderful with all of them.
Good.
So, so we try to make people aware of that. And I think part of why we, Eric and I had talked about this was that we see everybody who comes into town. I mean, from excise to exemptions, the blind, the elderly, the veterans, and everybody. This was an opportunity to try to be equal and help everyone.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And just not make a choice of adopting some local option that then would prevent us from doing something different.
Right.
And so I think we're the board decide to put this on a warrant article and us put it to town meeting. We would obviously be changing the landscape for all the seniors who are aware of these programs. So we would do a much more robust push out through the senior center and probably send out something in the tax bills.
Yeah, I would recommend that, just because
Notifying
I'm sure
folks,
there are, for the seniors that don't, or
And town topics usually
Yeah, we
is a
put it,
good.
we definitely, we could put it in town topics and put it on the website. We could do a lot of, do everything we can to reach out to the water bills and the tax bills to let them know that there's been a change and they should reevaluate it if town meeting, if this board decided to put it forward and town meeting decided to adopt it.
Yeah, no, that's good. I just want everybody to have a fair shake at it if they can. So,
Definitely,
Great, no, it's great.
Do you find more and more people applying, or do you have a steady flow? So it's-
You know what, our numbers really haven't changed that much. They kind of shift between categories. Like our 22D full exemption for the veteran surviving spouses has definitely increased. And I think as people are older and as they pass, if there's service-connected disability, then the spouse qualifies for the 22D. And they've changed those requirements to make it not as stringent. So we've had more of that, as you could tell from that form. That's the largest category, the 143,000, I think it is. So that's changed, but our elderly seems to stay within the range, because I think sometimes the asset and income requirements only go up such a small amount each year that they get kind of, they just miss it, or, so I haven't, and then there's another piece to the whole puzzle is on the spreadsheet that I have, the blue one, the last column, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has a senior circuit breaker. And you don't want to necessarily take an exemption that's gonna lower your tax obligation and then you'd have to forego the amount that you could get back from the state, because that one's like $2,700. So that's like a definite better avenue for them to pursue. So I think everybody has to weigh that, and they don't wanna, so it kind of depends, but I don't
And
think.
it's a complicated process. And
Yeah.
you can state, some of these are really things where when we say you need to talk to your tax professional, you really do need to talk to your tax professional about it, including to understand the exemptions themselves.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you for coming in, Karen.
Thanks,
No.
Karen, this
Thank
is
you.
great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry, I hope it's not too convoluted, and it's just a complicated, not the easiest straightforward.
So I guess, are you looking for action from the board at this point?
No, the idea would be that you have the information, we've done the presentation, and then, at our next meeting, I would bring forward some potential warrant articles that we could, if the board wants to say, hey, we think that those made sense, so we'll put all the options on the table and see how the board wants to happen.
Okay. That sounds great, because any way we can help, especially our seniors and veterans.
I think that's why this is timely, is because I agree. I think we can help.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you, Traskis.
Thank you, Karen.
I'm just gonna grab it.
Okay, Mr. Manager, sorry.
Thank you, Karen.
Mr. Manager, communications?
Yes, so you do have the memo from myself regarding the update for the mulch fire at 333 Andover Street. So I want to give a lot of credit to Fire Chief Billy Kavanaugh and the fire department for all the work that they have put out on the site. So on the 9th, which was the date of our last meeting, they started activity on site. They were there 12 to 13 hour days for that first week, with another 8 hours on Saturdays and Sundays. I think the only day that they have missed since they started that date was when it was torrentially raining.
Yeah.
God was helping out.
Yeah, last week. There's been no smoke on site since Tuesday of the first week. So by Tuesday they had targeted the hot spots and eliminated the smoke. There's been lots of steam, but it's very different from the smoke that the residents were suffering through for a while. The long-term goal is to take what was that 13,000 square yard pile of mulch, to deconstruct it, to spread it out so that it wasn't 30 feet deep as it was in some places, to fully douse and put out any kind of hot spots in the spread out mulch, and then to strategically place much smaller mulch piles in different locations on site so that they don't have a mass required to generate the internal heat for internal combustion. If only we can capture that power. And so, you know, Chief Kavanaugh and his staff have done a really phenomenal job working on it up to now, and I think he's very optimistic that we're going to get to a positive resolution. I think for purposes of the neighborhood, all I have heard since Tuesday is positive things about the disappearance of the smoke. So
That's great.
Mr. DePalma?
I had the opportunity to go up there, and when I pulled in, I said, "Where's the truck? Where's the equipment? We were supposed to have a shovel there." And they pointed, and down in that hole, there was the shovel. You couldn't even see it from the top of the property. And watching them dig it out, every time they were digging it, there was smoke. There was red embers. But it was amazing watching. You don't realize how dangerous it can end up being. And I'm glad the residents of the area are starting to get some relief, but it's, you know, they're not done yet. Let them finish up, and I do appreciate everything that the Wilmington Fire Department has done up there. It's no fun standing up there with the stench of burnt embers all around you. So I give them credit for what they've done up there so far. Thank you.
Any other comments? We're gonna, well, we're gonna have public comments in a few minutes, if you could hold off, but we appreciate it. We'll be probably, as soon as we get through some stuff, we'll do public comments, and the floor will be yours. You're welcome, sir.
next, Mr. Manager,
Hope I get the raise.
there we go. Mr. Chair.
At the end of the day.
We have an invitation from the Wilmington Little League to attend the 2026 Opening Day Parade and Ceremony on Sunday, April 12th, 2026. For those who attended last year, it was a lot of fun and great weather. We also, under correspondence, we have communications. We have a letter from Maura Healy, Governor, and Ken Driscoll, Lieutenant Governor, regarding our Chapter 90 apportionment for FY 2027. So for folks who are keeping score at home, our Chapter 90 apportionment for next fiscal year is $1,104,834.98. And I know that Jamie McGaldy has already got projects lined up to start on the traffic work with the Chapter 90 funds. We received a letter from MassDOT, from Paul Stedman, who's the District Highway Director, regarding the Wilmington Bridge replacement. So the construction documents, this is kind of the long-awaited bids for the bridge replacement for 129, Route 129 Lowell Street over I-93. And so this is notification of the contents of that work, that the bid documents were finalized, and the project that project has a completion date of May 22nd, 2029. So we are going to be looking at some interesting traffic regarding that replacement, but we do have the fact that the project's going forward, so I think that's very exciting. And I believe that is all of our communications. So we're on to boards to consider.
We do have several boards to consider. One is the request of Keith Black, and I do see you in the audience, so I'd like to recognize, I didn't know if you wanted to make a comment, because this is your board to consider item. Board to consider request of Keith Black that the Select Board proclaim March 22nd through April 30th, 2026 Motorcycle Safety Awareness Period. If you'd like to step forward.
Thank you.
If you just state your name and address, come to the mic and state your name and address, or the back mic if you want, either, whichever is.
That's fine. Can I just do a quick handout?
Sure.
To everybody?
Thank you, sir.
And I thank you.
No, not bad.
Yeah, if you could just state your name and address for the record.
My name is Keith Black. I live at 5 Adelman Road here in Wilmington. I've been a resident for close to 15 years now here in Wilmington. I've also been heavily involved in the motorcycle community for many, many years. I'm a certified Motorcycle Safety Foundation instructor with the program where we run different courses, beginner courses, experienced rider courses for motorcyclists. I've been licensing people for close to 20 years. So I'm embedded in the community here. Right now, as of July of 2025, there were 603 motorcycles registered here in Wilmington, in our town. From the years 2023 to 2026, thankfully we don't have any accidents yet for motorcycles yet this year. We've had 26 motorcycle-related crashes, not deaths, crashes. Wilmington has been fortunate there have been no deaths on motorcycles here. The Governor Healy has written her proclamation statewide for the period to be recognized for the motorcycle awareness for this time frame. There are other cities and towns, if you look at the handout that I've given you, mayors of an assortment of different towns throughout the Northeast section here. I only went with the Northeast section of Massachusetts here for us, and also the town select boards. I did a presentation with you folks last year. You were gracious enough to write a proclamation for us last year. I'm asking if the town can do that again for us this year to recognize the time frame for motorcycle safety awareness. Just help us, the non-motorcycling public, to make them aware that we're out there. It's that time of the year. We're coming back. We're coming back out. If you folks have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to answer to the best of my ability. The other thing I would also like to do is invite you this Sunday at the Masonic Temple, the Masonic Lodge in Ipswich. This is the grand kickoff for this time of the year. There'll be a pancake breakfast there, remembering Nelson Selig, who was killed May of 2000. He was involved with us, and this is why we've been continuing to do this for the last 26 years in Nelson's memory. But if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer to the best of my ability.
I just want to make a statement.
Sir?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're out there with them. I was riding when I was 12 years old. I started on dirt bikes. And I want to thank you for being out here and telling people that it's the season. You know, we run around and say it's Christmas, it's holidays, and this.
Sure.
But motorcycle season, as you have said before, the beginning of it's the most dangerous time of the year.
Correct.
Because people don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
And I want to just thank you, Mr. Black, for informing us of this and educating everyone around that it's the season. You know, take
Thank
a little pride in what you do and slow down a little when you see a bike. But
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm at the age now where I slow down and smell the roses, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
Go ahead, any other questions that I can answer?
I'm good.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, one thing I'd like to say real quick is that I know many motorcyclists, and many motorcyclists will tell me about the accident. And 90% of the time, the accident wasn't the fault of the motorcycle. It was the fault of either a vehicle or something other than control of the driver, the rider, or the actual motorcycle. So again, I appreciate you coming out here because, you know, it's like I said, as Mr. De Palma said, it's beginning of the season. A lot of times we're driving around not thinking that there's gonna be motorcycles or even, you know, 10-speed bikes or bicyclists that we're starting to see out there. So, you know, now that the weather is starting to break.
E-bikes are becoming another,
Yeah.
another piece that,
Dangerous.
I've been hearing a lot of rumors that the RMV wants to license those and register
Yeah.
those and provide training for those also.
I hope they
which-
do.
Okay,
Excuse me, that being said,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
okay, is there any
Thank-
discussion? All in favor? Thank you very much,
I
sir.
appreciate your
you.
time,
Appreciate
folks,
it.
thank you very much. One
Thank
thing
you.
I do have, I have a gift for the town. You get your own brand new sign.
Oh, there we go.
Awesome.
Very nice.
There's two. One for one in town hall, one in fire department, police department, whichever. I have more. Let me know, I'd be more than happy to drop some more off for you folks.
Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate your time, the motorcycling public appreciates your time.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, folks.
Thank
All right,
you.
take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Stay
it.
safe.
Always try. Thank you very much.
Okay, board to consider number 7, request from Kimberly Sousa Vitale, the Queen Bean, to obtain a hawk and pedal license to sell coffee. Is Ms. Vitale here? No, she was, okay. Okay. Is there a motion to grant the request?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, board to consider number 8. Consider license fee for all, amending license fee for all alcohol package store licenses, excuse me.
So moved.
Second.
What do
Well,
we,
hold on.
what,
We have to figure out what would be changing.
yes, that's.
This is just an open list for now.
Right, so I guess we're presented with a package store license fee from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 of our neighbors. Our current license fee is $1,750, and the license fee ranges from $1,200 to $2,500. So I guess one question that I would have is how many package stores do we have that would be affected? Does anybody know? 5.
Yeah, so this was in the, when the alcoholic, the all alcohol regulations were revised by the Economic Development Committee, this is one fee that wasn't addressed. And so, given that, as you can see from that list, we are on the low side of the the fees, it made sense to bring this forward to the board to see if, kind of in the spirit of us addressing other alcohol fees at the last meeting, that we address this one outlier in this meeting.
Okay.
You know, I think, you know, anywhere between 2,000 and 2,200 or 2,250.
So this is the current?
Yes.
This is the current, the 1750?
Is our current
So you're
fee.
looking for, so I'll make a motion that we raise it to $2,500. $2,500.
Is there a second?
Well, I'll just more say, when I looked at it, my first thought was to do it the same as we did with the restaurants, which would be plus 500, which is why I think you said 22.5.
A lot of places have those in lockstep, so 2,250 would be what we did for the restaurants.
I wouldn't say I'm necessarily 100% opposed, but I would say that when I looked at this, that's where I was initially putting it at, to be consistent.
Yeah, no, I was just going along with some of the other towns that have that rate.
I look at
We have
22.
a motion
I
on the
look at
table.
22.
Well, hold on, we have a motion on the table for 25. Is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Well, I gotta withdraw my motion first, I think, to approve it,
Yes.
don't I?
Okay, you withdraw your motion.
I'm
thank
gonna
you.
withdraw my motion.
Okay, and then we have Mr. Kyra's motion to up the fee to $2,500. Is there a second to up it to $2,500? Okay, I think that motion fails
big
for
jump.
lack of a second. Is
Well-
there any, I'm sorry?
Jake, did you wanna make a motion to do 2,250? Is that what I heard, or, no?
Let's do it. I can, and then we can have discussion, or you can talk about it, and I will.
I'm not opposed to raising it. I think Jake makes a good point on where we raised, you know, we changed things within the new licensing and alcohol and beverages, so.
Would anyone, I mean, that'd kind of be in the line of making it 2,000, because that way there it's up $250, but it's not.
But we increased 500, I think, on the other one, so
Yeah.
I'd be in favor of increasing 500,
So
just to stay in line with that.
let's not belabor the point here. So I'll make a motion, we raise it to 2250.
Second.
Okay, so any discussion on 2250?
I just figured I'd go for.
Get it done.
I know.
All
I
in,
appreciate that, Kevin.
Yes, thank you.
all in favor of 2250?
It does, it's ridiculous. All right.
And that would take effect when?
Well, so all those renewals will come at the end of the year, but we don't have any more package store licenses, so we can't have it. We use all our licenses. So.
December, okay. Okay, board to consider number 9, consider the request of Peter Hay, pastor of the United Methodist Church, to use the town beach at Silver Lake on Sunday, April 5th, 2026 at 6:30 a.m. for an Easter sunrise service.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Oh,
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? That was easy. Okay. Board to consider number 10, request of Michael P. Ferrara, Performing Arts Department, Wilmington Public Schools, to use the town common and gazebo on Tuesday, May 19, 2026, with the rain date of May 22nd, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the purpose of high school honors jazz band and concert band on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for the purpose of elementary string orchestra concert. So there's 2 separate events. I don't know if you
so moved. If you're
take them both?
gonna take them both.
It's probably not controversial.
No, I don't think so.
Second.
Mr. Palmer, all in favor?
As long as there's nothing else, right?
Yeah, so I was gonna mention that Beverly has gone through all of these boards to consider and made sure that there's no conflicts. There's one that's close, but they've been informed that, like, one has in the morning, one has in the afternoon, but they've been informed of the cutoff time. But thank you for asking, I was gonna make sure to mention that.
Okay. Board to consider number 11, request of Brian Kyra, principal of the Wilmington Middle School, to use the town common and gazebo on Tuesday, June 16th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the 8th grade moving on ceremony. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second.
Doesn't matter.
Mr. Kyra, all in favor? Okay. Number 12, board to consider request of Natalie Hardy, Library Director, to use the Wildwood Street parking lot on Friday, June 26, 2026, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. for the annual Big Wheels event.
So moved.
So that,
Second.
I'm assuming that 12 p.m. is noontime now.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, there was a motion from Mr. De Palma?
Nope.
Oh, Mr.
Maselli.
Maselli, second by Mr. De Palma. All in favor? Thank you. Number 13, request of Natalie Hardy, Library Director, for the use of Town Common on Saturday, June 20th, 2026, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for the summer reading kickoff on Friday, July 31st, 2026, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. for Meet the Animals, and on Thursday, August 13th, 2026, from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. for End of Summer Bash. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Gaylor, is there a second? Mr. Kyra, any discussion? All in favor?
I do have an issue about talking about an end of summer bash when we haven't even got this. Stressing me out a little bit.
Yeah, they called it,
Okay, we're getting there. We still got a bunch of them here. Okay. Number 14, request of Tara D. Filippos, Shawshene Tech Parent Advisory Committee, to place signs of graduating Wilmington seniors, estimated at 80, of Shawshene Valley Regional Vocational Technical High School on Town Common from June 1st to June 12th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Mr. DePalma, Ms. Maselli, all in favor? Number 15, consider the request of Christine Canavari, President, Wilmington Farmers Market Association, to use the town common to conduct the farmers market on Sundays, June 7th, 2026 through October 4th, 2026 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Oh, Ms. Maselli, Mr. Gaywar. I think one thing now, the 4th of July is in there. I think they addressed that in their letter.
Yeah, I believe in their letter, they said that during the Fun on the 4th, they'll be partnering up with the Fun on the 4th committee to hold the farmers market on the town common on the 28th from 10 to 1. So they will still be here on the common, but they'll be working with the Fun on the 4th committee.
Okay, is there a motion to grant the request?
We already did that.
We did.
Oh, sorry. So it wasn't second? Okay,
Yeah.
all in favor? Sorry about that. Okay. Number 16, signature license agreement for Wilmington Farmers Market.
so moved.
Second.
So signing the lease agreement. Second, all in favor? Okay. Board to consider number 17, request of Mallory Doggialo, might be mispronouncing that name, Marketing Communications Coordinator, Reading Municipal Light Department, to use the municipal parking lot on Sunday, August 23rd, 2026, from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for an electric vehicle car show and to place promotional signs on the town common from August 16th to August 23rd. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Ms.
Second.
Maselli and Mr. DePalma, all in favor? Do we have any free dates on any of these?
I think we're running out. We're running out.
Board to consider number 18, request of Amy Gray, Wilmington High School baseball, to conduct a fundraising car wash at the municipal parking lot at 142 Middlesex Ave on Saturday, May 16th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. with a rain date of Sunday, May 17th, 2026. Is there a motion?
Approve.
Mr. DePalma, is there a second? Mr. Kyra, any discussion? All in favor? Number 19, our final board to consider. Request of Marcy Mulcahy, Wilmington, and I'm going to apologize if I mispronounce, Wilmington High School Courtside Club to conduct a fundraising car wash at the municipal parking lot at 142 Middlesex Avenue on Sunday, July 26, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. with a rain date of Sunday, August 9th, 2026. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Mr. De Palma, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Gerwar, all in favor?
We're gonna have clean cars in this town.
Okay, public comments. Is there any member of the public? Sir, you wanted to speak earlier? Excuse me, just so you know, give your name and address for the record, and we do limit public comments to 5 minutes.
Right.
Sir.
Just a minute. Rod Martin, 29 Hensley Way, Wilmington. And I spoke at the last meeting to all of you, and I want to thank you and commend you for backing our efforts. And I already emailed Chief Kavanaugh about my thanks, and I wish to publicly give my thanks to the Chief Kavanaugh and the entire Wilmington Fire Department for doing an exemplary job at finally getting that fire out, controlling the smoke. For the past week, a little bit longer, we finally, after a number of months, have been able to breathe fresh, clean air again. So thank you all.
It's wonderful.
We're glad to hear that, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else, public comments? Okay, announcements. Does anybody have an announcement? Mr. Manager.
Yeah, so I have 2 announcements. The first is there's going to be a Wildwood Street community cleanup. So on March 28th, 2026 at 9 a.m., the community cleanup volunteer team will be tackling a well-known problem area that frequently accumulates litter in town, which is Wildwood Street. The section of Wildwood Street that crosses the wetlands and the river will be the main focus of the cleanup effort. Community members are encouraged to be alert and drive slowly down Wildwood Street between the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. on March 28th. If you're interested in joining the volunteer team, please reach out to Jane Weisbecki, who is our planner and economic development coordinator in the Planning and Conservation Department, or you can reach out to the town manager's office. This is a really great effort they're going to make to go out with community volunteers to clean up both sides of the road along Wildwood Street, all through that wetlands area where sometimes there's a little bit of dumping on the side. So that's the first announcement I have.
Good school community hour opportunity too.
There you go. The second is the Wilmington Rotary Club and WHS Rotary Interact Club are holding their 4th annual Polar Plunge at Silver Lake to support the Rotary's End Polio Now campaign. Everyone's welcome to join the Rotary as they plunge into the chilly waters of Silver Lake on Saturday, March 28th at 11 a.m. So you go out, you clean up Wildwood Street, and you go and you jump in the lake. So the ice and snow are gone from the lake. I think that's, can't vouch for the temperature, but there's technically not ice on it right now. The eradication of polio has been the Rotary's international signature cause since 1988. When Rotary International took up the battle against this disease, more than 350,000 people spanning 125 countries were impacted by polio each year. Today, there are 2 countries remaining where polio has not been completely eradicated. In recent years, there are only 5 reported cases of wild polio virus, down from 140 in 2020. The drops of oral vaccines distributed to the most remote locations around the world have made a dramatic difference. So all the money raised will be sent to Rotary International's End Polio Now campaign to support this vital program. And those are the announcements I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Any new business from our members?
Yes, please, Chair. If I can pass it down. I just wanted to bring this up. The Select Board in Reading, with initiative from Chair Chris Haley and Vice Chair Melissa Murphy. As you know, in 2024, there was a vote to have the legislation audited, and it did pass that vote, and the the legislature has refused to allow the auditing, and our Mass State Auditor, Diana DiZoglio, is, she's now, I think the case is now going to the Supreme Court. So I just wanted to bring it to the attention of this board. The letter I just passed out is is the letter that the Reading Select Board is writing to the legislation. And they are asking surrounding towns and communities and select boards and such to follow suit and join them in this. So I just wanted to bring it to this board to see what everybody thinks, and maybe we can have an agenda item next meeting and discuss it on whether we'd like to send a letter as well. Obviously, I don't know how the board feels about it, but I know I personally would like to do it. But that's all that is. So it's just a copy of the letter. And then if we could just have an agenda item to discuss it. And
I'm on board.
Okay.
I'll tell you now. We were higher than they were at 66. We were 72 or 73%.
yeah, we were in the 70s as
Yeah.
well. And the state was, which is on this letter, was 71.4% of voters authorizing it. And if you know the history, I had actually spoken with Diana DiZoglio last year. We were both speaking at an event, and it's unfortunate that there's no one holding them accountable, and every time they try to do so, they just basically say no. So, so I just thought it'd be a good discussion, and perhaps we can, show our support for what, the state voted for. So thanks.
Well, we can put it on the agenda for next meeting unless anyone has any
Yeah.
objection.
No, I'm with you.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have something drafted to actually approve at that meeting?
I forwarded an email to you with it too,
Great.
so, but.
What do you say, do you have a draft?
I was gonna, yeah, can we have something drafted
Yeah,
to
I was
actually
gonna say,
vote
I
on?
can draft a letter that's,
Yeah, Eric just sent that. so
that's on
that'd be
our
appreciated.
letterhead, so we can, if the vote is
Perfect.
possible, we can just send it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Oh, that's great. Any other new business from our members?
Announcements?
Announcements, yeah, sorry.
Just want to wish everyone a happy Easter.
Yeah, it's great,
Yes.
gosh, that's snuck up
Happy
on us,
Easter.
isn't it?
Very early this year, which is
Yeah.
Happy Easter, Passover, I don't know when that starts, so
Just got
The
through.
Greek Easter as well, the
yeah,
weekend.
Greek Easter, yeah.
We just got through corned beef and cabbage, right around the corner here. Okay. Any new business? Okay, Mr. Manager, close it out. Important dates.
Important dates, thanks you, Mr. Chair. So important dates, March 28th, as I just mentioned, there's a community cleanup on Wildwood Street from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. April 1st, brush drop off at Old Main Street from 8 to 2. April 4th, brush drop off at Old Main Street from 9 to 4. April 6th through the 10th is curbside collection of leaves and grass. April 8th is brush drop off at Old Main Street from 8 to 2. April 12th is the Little League Opening Day Parade. April 13th is our next meeting, the Select Board Hearing Town Hall Hearing Room at 7 o'clock p.m. April 13th through 17th, we will have in-person early voting here in Town Hall. April 15th is the last day to register to vote for the annual town election and the annual town meeting. The town's clerk's office will be open until 5 o'clock p.m. on that day. April 15th, we have brush drop off at Old Main Street from 8 to 2. April 18th, we have brush drop off at Old Main Street from 9 to 4. April 20th, the town offices will be closed for Patriots Day. April 20th through April 24th is the curbside collection of leaves and grass. April 22nd is brush drop off at Old Main Street from 8 to 2. April 25th, brush drop off at Old Main Street from 9 to 4. And April 25th is also the annual town election. The polls open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. April 27th is the next select board meeting here at Town Hall at the hearing room at 7 o'clock p.m. April 29th, we have brush drop off at Old Main Street from 8 to 2. And then May 2nd, please do not forget, we have our annual town meeting at the high school auditorium at 9 o'clock a.m. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have our salute for veterans. This meeting, we'd like to honor Sergeant Theodore Vroman. Mr. Vroman, joined service on February 13th, 2002 from Boston, Mass. Went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for fire support specialist and separated on June 14, 2002. He was assigned to HHB 1BN 101FA in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Sergeant Vroman was activated on March 24, 2005 for OIF out of Brockton, Mass. with the 101st FA Forward. separated from Camp Shelby, MS, Mississippi on July 1st, 2006. Staff Sergeant Vroman was activated again as a unit supply specialist on February 24th, 2009 out of Melrose, Mass, and separated again on March 24th, 2011. Staff, SSG Vroman was reactivated again on March 26, 2011 to serve in Afghanistan and separated at Camp Atterbury, Indiana on April 19, 2012. He's currently serving and will be retiring this year in Wilmington, Mass. Awards: Bronze Star Medal, Army Commendation Medal, 3rd Award, Army Achievement Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Afghanistan Campaign Medal with 2 campaign stars, Global War on Terrorism on Expeditionary Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, Armed Service Reserve Medal with M. Device 2nd Award, Combat Action Badge, and Expert Infantryman Badge. Again, we'd like to thank you for your service, sir. With that, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Thank you very much, everyone.